And now, more You Talk. Now.
Our guest on You Talk today is an actor. He's a contortionist. We'll explain that later. An author, a mime artist. He's best known for portraying non-human creatures, if that makes sense. He has so many credits for television and film, we don't have time to list them all, but here's just a few, okay? Batman Returns, Hellboy, Silver Surfer, Fantastic Four, The Shape of Water, phenomenal film. If you haven't seen it, you need to see it. It won an Academy Award. He'll also be on the new Hocus Pocus. He was on the first one. The new one's coming out next month. He's also been on CSI. You've seen him there on Criminal Minds. And he plays Captain Saru on Star Trek Discovery. You are going to love him. He is like the greatest guy. Hey, welcome to You Talk.
Hello. How's it going?
Good. How about you?
Oh, everything's happy and good here. Thanks.
Good. It's been a minute or two. I know you've been busy, but I am so stoked that we finally got you on the show.
Well, no, me too. Thanks for having me. It's been a while since I've seen you. I did your talk show, the New Year's Eve special with you about 116 years ago.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? Let's jump to that because I was going to talk about it anyway. On that show, you exhibited one of your very unusual talents. And I didn't realize you had that, but that of a contortionist. So, when we did that show together, that was so fun, but it's like, what is this guy doing? First of all, explain to people in the audience what a contortionist is, because some of them are going, I can't even spell it, let alone say it.
Right. Yeah, that would be like a very flexible person who can, take things. Of course, I tore my rotator cuffs, both of them, at some point in my life, so my shoulders don't do the same. But I could put my leg behind my head. And I'm wearing shorts tonight, so I don't want to show you my bare leg. But but on your previous talk show, I think I surprised you by flipping a leg over my head in the middle of our interview.
Yes. I mean, that was different. Yeah. Okay, what is the craziest, most unusual situation you used your contortionist skills in?
Oh gosh, I did a ton of TV commercials. I've done over 100 commercials, and a lot of those were cast because, he's a flexible guy who does weird stuff. So a fun one was I was smashed into a small plexiglass box for Lee jeans, and it was their comfort, some kind of a stretchy comfort fabric. And they were exhibiting that by putting it on a guy who could bend up and end up, all smashed into a box and still be comfortable, Yeah.
Okay, this is like, I probably shouldn't ask. I'm going to ask it anyway, though. Have you ever been tempted, like in public, to just do something like that and see what people say or do?
No, same thing with wearing prosthetic makeups. I've never been one to want to go through the drive-through window and be like, hey, I feel like I get quite enough attention as it is. I don't want to go create something else.
I know, my mind goes that way sometimes. It's like, okay, let's go back to another talent that you have that kind of I listed there. I'll be kind.
Okay.
And polite. You are a mime artist. And in my mind's eye, a mime is like a visual storyteller. When did you start doing this? How did it come about? How did you use it?
Right. When I was in college at Ball State University, I joined a mime troupe on campus called Mime Over Matter. That's a pun.
Oh, if I had my drums, I'd give you a rim shot.
Ba-dum-bum. Yeah. So, but being a part of that mime troupe and the art of mime and communicating without verbal dialogue really was great early training for me that I didn't realize I was getting for the career that I didn't know I was going to have, being an actor who plays lots of monsters and creatures under heavy rubber makeups over the years. So so that's come in handy. And I think just as an actor in general too, we all communicate, even playing humans. We all communicate with all of it. Our voice, our facial expressions, our gestures, our posture, it all communicates something. So the mime training really did help all of that as well.
That's interesting. I didn't put all of that together. Now, you were also were you the mascot for your college?
I was. Yeah, I was I was in a big fuzzy red bird suit. I was Charlie Cardinal at Ball State. Yeah.
Huh.
That was my first costume character ever, and Ball State still takes credit for my career. Yeah.
Well, I would imagine. I mean, you just said this, that you find yourself using some of those skills that you started to build back in college when you didn't know what you were building for. Mimes have always fascinated me because it really, if you pay attention, there is a story that they're telling you.
Yeah, that's the hope. That's the hope. Yeah, and you don't realize how much communication can happen without words spoken. And that was put to the test in the movie The Shape of Water, when Sally Hawkins, who played this mute woman, falls in love with a fish man from the wild. Of course, he doesn't speak either. So the two of them had to develop a visual communication with each other. And you know what comes into play too is touch. It's so many. Your words can deceive. Your words can lie, but your hands and your touch, it's full of honesty. And you can tell when someone's hesitant to touch, with their touch, or they're angry with their touch, or they're loving with their touch. You can really tell. And so our characters communicated through that so beautifully.
Oh, it was a brilliant film. And guys, if you have not seen that film, you need to see the film. The first time I saw it was in the theater. And you're right. I mean, you put all that together, the touch. And I like what you just said. You can lie with your words, but not with your touch.
Yeah.
That's powerful, especially in the world in which we live.
Well, and you know what's horrible? If the pandemic taught me anything, it's how important touch is. Because we were forbidden to touch each other, leave the house or intermingle with people. And as human beings, we're meant to know each other, love each other, be around each other, hug each other. That's a part of the human experience, I think. And so when that was taken away from us, it hurt. It hurt.
No, it did big time because, and for me, being Italian, I mean, we're touch people,
Of course. Give me that face.
Come here, give me a, So I'm giving you a big Italian virtual hug right now, my brother. But that is so important. And I think it's hurt us because I think people are having trouble adjusting. Okay, is it okay to touch or hug or, and I know the fist thing, but anyway, that's fascinating. What a gift that is. And again, it's interesting to think back. You had no idea, that this would become, this was foundational for you for what you were going to do and who you are. And I mean, that's completely awesome. Let's go back to the beginning. I guess that's kind of the beginning, but maybe the beginning of acting. How did that happen? Okay, you're a mime at the university, and now you're acting. How did that happen?
Yeah, well, it's quite a longer than we have, but in detail. But basically, going to school in Indiana and getting my first job out of college in Indiana, I was a mime at Kings Island in Cincinnati.
Okay.
And then shortly after that, a newspaper salesman, and then ended up out in California as a bank management trainee. But basically, that bank job, that was not my life's passion, but it was an excuse to move to Southern California where the showbiz lived. Okay. And now it lives all over the country because it's spreading out. It's a different world now.
Totally.
The industry has changed. It's more back then. You had to be in New York or LA, and so I chose here in Los Angeles. And shortly after the bank fired me, which they should have, I didn't blame them for it. I started taking a TV commercial acting class, and it was taught by an agent, and he took me on, and that was my first commercial agent. And they were a good one. They were Wilhelmina agency in the top 10 in the city for TV commercials. And
nice.
So I started auditioning. And with my resume having contortionist and mime at the bottom of it as special skills, casting directors all brought me in for, any kind of physical tomfoolery or pratfalls, funny clowning, anything. So a lot of those roles came with a look that it had to be glued onto you. So that's how I got familiarized with the creature effects world and those who make creatures and apply them. And I got hooked into that world. One of my early commercial jobs that really helped me buy my first house, that was the Mac Tonight campaign for McDonald's, which was a Moonhead sang at a piano. Hey, and he's gotten kind of cool and hip again on the YouTube. and that character's been cut into music videos for other people, and so he has had a secondary life after the 80s and 90s.
Who would have thought that I'm watching that commercial and years later I'd be talking to that individual? But that's so clever. And so obviously then for you to want to move to California to get close to this world, you had a desire at that point in time then to try acting.
Yeah, well, you're trying acting. There's the key. I had to learn something early on, and that is that I'm not trying to be an actor. I am an actor. I had to own it and be proud of it, because it's funny. It's funny. One of the in Los Angeles, especially when people say, "Oh, what do you do?" Well, I'm an actor, and the first joke they want to throw out is, "Well, what restaurant do you work at?" Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. So you really do have to own, no, you know what, I'm committed to this. And so it took me about 6 months before I booked my first commercial, which is not that long. I was very fortunate to have a great agent and going out on auditions and getting booked on a Southwest Airlines commercial as a dancing mummy. That's my first gig. And then the Max Night campaign came 2 commercials after that, all within the first few months. So I was very blessed early on, and I'll never poo-poo that.
That is so cool, and I like what you just said about owning it. I am not trying to be, I am. And really, that applies to anything. I mean, I'm a drummer. I'm not trying to be a drummer. I am.
Right.
And you got to own it, because if you don't own it, whether it's acting, drumming, painting, whatever it happens to be, you don't own it, not going to happen.
Right. Exactly.
It just isn't going to happen. That's fascinating, though, and I'm glad the bank fired you too.
Right. I might have gotten teary-eyed for about a half hour, and then I was like, you know what? They just did me a big favor, and they really did. Yeah. So, but by the way, I'm taking a minute. I've been seeing a lot of people asking about conventions coming up. That is something that I do, talking about hugs and seeing people face to face. I do have more conventions planned. I've got about 4 coming up in the next couple of months. Emerald City Comic Con in Seattle. Star Trek Las Vegas, which is now called 56 Year Mission in Las Vegas, and those are both in August. September will be Horror Hound in Cincinnati, Ohio, and then Granite State Comic Con in New Hampshire, Manchester, New Hampshire. So some people were asking about Dragon Con, and I'm not booked for that one this year. So anywho, but there will be Huggles and face cups and head pets, monkeypox be danged.
Now, I think I saw something on social today about a Captain Saru doll that's going to be in Vegas.
Yeah, yes. There have been. This is another fun thing about my silly career. Playing so many, fantastical looking creatures. Yeah. Many action figures and dolls and toys have been made of my characters over the years. Many of them, and it's been, when that first happened, you're like, oh, this is what I was hoping for as a kid. I wanted to be a toy.
Yeah.
So there's a Captain Saru from Star Trek Discovery has been a character that I've been a Hallmark Christmas ornament now. I have been a Funko Pop. I've been many Funko Pops, but now the Saru is one. But this new one is something 6. So I forget the name of the company now. Exo 6, I think it's called. And it's not a cheap one. It's like museum quality reproduction of me on a 1/6 or 1/3 scale model, and it's a couple $100, but it's they're available for pre-order, and I can sign them live for you in Las Vegas if you're attending that Star Trek convention.
Oh, how fun!
All that information is at the appearance managing company who handles me, Cool Waters. So they're here on Instagram. If you search Cool Waters, all one word, you will find them, and in their link in their bio, all that information will be there.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, guys, make sure you go there. Cool Waters. And we'll try to remember to put that in the notes for this show as well. Okay, now this begs the question, with all these little figures and figurines and Christmas ornaments, and I'm going to have to go find that Christmas ornament, because I collect Christmas ornaments, and so I got to.
It doesn't look Christmassy at all. It's Captain Burnham and me standing side looking at it's a reproduction of a scene from season 1 of our show.
Okay.
And it doesn't look, we're both in our Starfleet uniforms. It doesn't look, there's not a wreath or a tree or lights in sight. It's just, doesn't look, but yeah. But Hallmark has a line of, a lot of thematic,
They
ornaments
do.
like that.
Well, I've got to get one, so I have Dougie on my tree.
There you go.
I'll just know that's you. But okay, do you have one of each of these?
Oh yeah, no, I do. I collect. I have one of everything, and one day before I die, I'll sign them all, and someone can have at it.
Do you have them displayed at home on like shelves and stuff?
I should.
You should.
Yeah, no. I mean, I have great ideas of display cases and lights and things, but there's no room. I don't know. Yeah, and Mrs. Laurie doesn't like to decorate in science fiction or horror themed things. So it's like,
gee, I wonder why.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you could, I don't know, have like an extra room put on the house, and it's just like the Dougie room, and you walk in, and there's this aura. Every place you look, it's Dougie.
I like where you're going with this. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No. I can help you on it. Okay.
Okay.
I during some off time as a drummer, I did some construction work, so I know how to hammer a nail in.
Okay. So you can build my museum room here at the house.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Hey, I even know how to shoot myself in the hand with a nail gun. I mean, I'm that good. Okay.
Okay. You've got talents
where to go. You have been called the most popular actor you've never actually seen. What? Now,
I have been, yes.
You have. Okay. What's up with that? You kind of alluded to it, but I want to come back to it.
Yeah. Well, I've often been introduced as he's the most famous actor you've never seen. So which means I'm often covered in some kind of rubber bits and playing a monster creature that goes or something, and it happens to be in large productions. Whether I've been in 2 Oscar-winning films, I've been in big box office releases, I've been in television series for major networks, but often not looking like this. So it's kind of I get kind of the best of both worlds. I get to be a part of these huge productions, but I can still go to a coffee shop and not get mobbed. And that's kind of a nice, that's kind of a gift. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that really is, because I know you would be gracious with that, but it is nice because I know that's got to get old for people who are not putting the masks on and all that kind of stuff, but are in shows, because you get mobbed, can you sign this? Can, do a selfie, all of that stuff. So that is kind of a benefit.
Yeah, well, I'm getting recognized more now in public just because I've done a lot of press interviews with this face, and then they kind of marry this face to all of the characters I played over the years. So there's the occasion, a lot of I get stopped in an airport or a mall or a restaurant.
Nice,
fairly often now, but it's, again, I don't cause a mob scene. They don't get 3 deep with like, can I get your hat? That doesn't happen. I don't have that Brad Pitt problem.
No, that's a nice problem not to have.
Yeah.
Okay, now let me see if I can get this right. You were honored with a special award from the Makeup Artists and Hair Stylists Guild, and they gave you the inaugural Chair Award.
Correct, which was a huge honor. The Makeup Artists and Hairstylists Guild, their union, they have their annual award show where they celebrate their own people with they give out awards for best hair, best makeup in all television and film. And this year, they were so sweet to create a new award for an actor who has been in their chairs a lot. And I have been in those chairs a lot. Yeah. So they called this award the Chair Award. And so I'm the first recipient of it, and I was so incredibly honored that and they, when they gave this award to me, they ran a whole montage video of my entire career. It was kind of like attending your own funeral. So it was sweet, and we all had that. No. If people are going to be saying nice things about us, we should be there for it, I think.
Yeah, we really should. I've heard it said a number of times, what the eulogies at funerals really should be given like at birthdays.
Don't you think?
I mean, really, so you
agree.
can hear what these people are saying and thinking, and all that kind of stuff. So, what is the law? I mean, what a special award, and especially to get the inaugural one. What is the longest time you've had to be in a chair to get makeup and
Right.
prosthesis and masks and all of that stuff
Yeah.
put on.
Well, yeah, the longest makeup you'll ever do is for a test makeup. That's when on a day that they're not actually filming, so they can putz and futz and create this look for the first time. So those have taken maybe up to 11 hours before. That's a long day. That's a long day, right? But that's all you're doing that day. Then you get into production, and the longest ongoing day by day makeup for a filming day I've had was on the first Hellboy movie. I think it was Abe Sapien, my fish guy character, clocked in at about 7 hours a day just to get ready. So you put in a full work day before you then go to set and start working. So it's a bit tedious, but the makeup artists do all the work during that time. I just sit still, which is kind of like what I said at the Makeup and Hairstylist Awards when I said I feel kind of guilty holding this statue because I sat in a chair. That's why you called it the Chair Award, and you guys did all the work. So what am I getting an award for?
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, but you just said something and it clicked in. It's like, okay, you're sitting there for 7 hours, makeup, everything else has got to, and then you start working.
Yeah,
and you could be on set for another 7 hours or
more like 12. Yeah,
yeah.
And so
that's crazy.
18-hour days are part of my deal. Yeah, kind of just how it works.
Gosh, that's nuts. That is absolutely crazy. And they're not shooting all of your scenes like, okay, let's get the 7 hours done, get him in there, okay, now we're done. I mean, you said days in a row.
Oh, yeah. Now, a part of the union that I belong to, the Screen Actors Guild, a part of their rules are that you have to have 12 hours off. So if they wrap me out at the end of the day at 11 p.m., they can't bring me until 11 a.m. the next day. That's usually the rule. But they often go shorter than that and they have to pay a hefty fee to the union for that, or to me for that. It's a little penalty fee, but so many productions, do that because they're on a tight schedule and they got to get it shot out. So sleep deprivation is a part of my life.
Oh, I mean, when you come home, you've got to just collapse, I would think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you do. And but these gigs, even if they last a few months, you still have an end in sight. There's an end to every tunnel,
Now, I'm assuming then that you are conscious of keeping yourself healthy, in shape, and eating healthy. I mean, it seems you'd have to be able to do what you do.
Yeah, well, you do want to stay as physically fit as possible. I mean, anybody. I think we all should stay as physically fit as possible.
Sure.
For longevity and for enjoying the life that we have while we're in it. But yeah, now that I am 62 years old, and I'm happy and proud to announce that, I really do have to. I have a wellness coach who tells me to use it or lose it. Keep it moving, or you're not going to be able to move it. So, that means
good.
All the limbs have to stay in motion. Do your stretches, do your exercises. So I have my little skinny boy workout that I do a couple times a week, and I'm doing my best.
I love it, skinny boy workout. Yeah, I'm trying to head back to the skinny boy thing. My doctor, I went in for my physical. My doctor said, I want you to go see a cardiologist. Just it's good, keep things going and stuff. So I go, and they got me all hooked up for the treadmill and all the little things on your chest and stuff. And this little tiny Dr. Tumati comes in and he slaps me on the side of my gut and goes, "Steven." I said, "Yes, Doc." He goes, "The blubber's got to go." And I thought, there's a day in my life, I'm way bigger than you, and there's a day in my life that I probably would have, kind of rearranged you a bit. But okay, you're right. The blubber's got to go. So
if it's coming from a doctor, we might want to listen. That's all.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it's interesting that you have a wellness coach and you've got exercise routines and I'm sure you're cautious of your diets and all, and that's got to be hard too. Being on set and traveling, and that's not an easy thing to maintain.
Yeah, well, that's why wellness coach Steve Atlas, he's on Instagram if you want to look him up, anybody, Steve Atlas, and we met online so that he could work with me online as I travel about the world. So I don't have to be in person all the time with this trainer. So he's good. He gave me a routine, set me on my way. And I had a rotator cuff that I tore in an action scene about 5 years ago, and he helped me rehabilitate that. So he's been like a godsend.
Well, I'll have to connect with him because it really, we only have one life and we need to enjoy it. And when you're healthy, I see people sometimes are those electronic wheelchair things or missing a limb or whatever, and just simply say, God, thanks. I don't have that issue. So I need to take care of this body and get it in shape and keep it in shape, so we can keep going and do what we enjoy doing. Of all these characters that you have played in a variety of masks and prosthesis, is there a favorite one or two?
I get asked the favorite thing all the time. And it's really hard to answer because it's like picking your favorite child. Because I've had to connect with all these characters over the 36 years I've been acting. I have to fall in love with them in some way, shape, or form so that I can play them correctly. Even the bad guys, I have to find their heart and soul and like connect with them and understand them and sympathize with them, even if they're doing evil things, because then I understand how to play them. So that gives me a real sense of ownership with all of them. So I can't really say here's my favorite because that would kind of negate the rest of my career.
No. It's and I kind of suspected you would say that, and you just confirmed something for me. I'm a Dougie fan. We're friends, but I'm a Dougie fan. And when I watch you in a film, TV show, whatever, you are that person. You know what I mean?
Thank you. I take that as a huge compliment. Thank you.
Yeah, no, you really are, because you're not acting. You are so good at your craft that you've become that person, and you've made that person believable. I mean, because I see some things, you probably have too, and you're kind of going, okay, well, good effort, but you become, and you just confirmed that. I mean, falling in love with that character, if it's an evil character, if it's a good character, and putting yourself in there, because that's what makes you such a brilliant actor is you're believable and you own it, and you give us a chance as an audience to own your character and to enjoy that character, good, bad, or indifferent. But I love the way you put that. Is that something that other actors strive towards as well, I would think?
The thing about actors is we're all very different from each other. Everyone has their own process, their own thing that motivates them, their own space that they can play in and work from. So I can't speak for anybody else, honestly. But also when it comes to the favorite character question.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, I might be asked that by somebody who does have a favorite. So because I've been in so many different fantastical things, I've been in the horror genre, the fantasy genre, the comic book genre, the science fiction genres. Those have such emotional appeal to people. And people that have a very smart brain, that's inquisitive, that's curious, they're drawn to science fiction. Those who might have traumas and issues in their life that they want to work out are kind of drawn to horror, I find, and they're all such beautiful people that come to me that have reacted to something I've been in.
Yeah.
I really appreciate hearing what something I've been in has had how it's had an effect on you in your life. And I hear about that.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I love about the convention appearances that I do is I hear so many of these personal stories of something that I was in that hit them at the right time in their life, or it marks a moment in time in their personal life, their family life, their professional life, whatever. So a lot of those characters that come up with those stories, a lot of the fans that come up with stories involve the Silver Surfer, or Billy Butcherson from Hocus Pocus, or the Faun, or the Pale Man from Pan's Labyrinth, or the Amphibian Man from The Shape of Water, Captain Saru from Star Trek Discovery, or Cochise from Falling Skies. All these characters have been very different from each other, but have meant something, and also have meant something very different to whoever's watching.
Yeah,
that's the beauty of art, is that we can all draw something different from that piece of art, whatever we need that day.
That's amazing, and what an awesome experience for you to be at these conventions and hear these stories. And it's
that's a gift for me.
I mean that really is. It makes it worthwhile. It's it's interesting the way that goes, because I know for me, when I see you in something, I'll go, oh, he nailed it in that, and he is that, character. I'll see you something else and I'll say the same thing. And it's like, I think that's the brilliance of you as an actor. And then to get that feedback, I mean, it puts things in perspective and I love hearing things like that myself. Oh, Steve, you were on this show, or when you wrote this book, or whatever it happens to be. And, that was really helpful. And like you, I don't do conventions as much. I mean, I do public events and things like that. But when I get that email, when I get that, somebody comes up to me and I'll say, that it was worth everything to hear you say that, to be part of this. Okay, here's the question I'm sure you get asked a lot about acting. Now, I've had the opportunity to be an extra in several films, and it's been fun. It's been a blast. I mean, of course, you don't realize what's involved in it, call time at 6 p.m. and you leave at 6 a.m. or whatever. But I have been very blessed and had great opportunities. I want to do more, but there's two things I want to have. I want to have a speaking part, and I want to have a film or a TV show where I can play my drums. It's just, something that I'm striving towards, and I'm going to have to, go to one of the places and, get the headshots done and all that, and list. I don't have all the special, I can't do contortion and I can't do mime, but I can do drums and hand percussion, I mean, that's got to be worth something. And I can throw in some Italian cooking in that. But okay, there's people in our audience right now that are saying, I was born to be an actor. I want to be an actor. I've got to be an actor. By the way, I don't call myself an actor because I've only done extra stuff. To me, it's like, it's been fun. But
well, depending on what's been asked of you, you very much have put some acting into that. Yes.
Well, I guess that's true. It's anyways. That's for another conversation. But what would you tell somebody that's in our audience right now, and they're saying it's gnawing at me? Not that they could do what you do, because, like you said, everybody's unique. Every actor is unique. Any advice for that person who's in that position?
Wow, the advice question is also very hard to give because again, everyone's journey into the arts is going to be different. Like how you start, how you finish, how your journey along the way.
Right.
If you ask any actor out there, how did you get where you are? They're going to give you a completely different story from the last person you talked to.
Okay.
So advice is very hard to give, because I would give advice based on my own personal story. Yeah. And maybe that wouldn't be the right fit for your path, whatever that is. So I think the smartest thing is, though, to realize that we call it show business, but it's actually an art form.
Okay.
So let's not forget the art, and let's not focus so much on the business. If it's show business, like I'm responsible for the show, and there's other people that handle the business part of it. I have to have a good brain for that, but I want them, but
sure.
But like getting in the door, what's the phone number I need to call to get famous? That's work on the art first, is what I would say. If you want to be an actor, be the very best actor you can be before you try to sell it. You must have a product before you sell it. And that would include any of the arts. If you're a painter, a sculptor, a musician, a dancer, a singer, a photographer, before you try to sell your art, be really good at it first. And if then everyone's route to get good is also different. Some people are just life experience livers and can regurgitate from their real life. Others are class takers, and they really learn a lot from a great instructor or a coach. Whatever works for you, do that thing, and get really good at what you do before you put yourself out there. And the other thing as an actor is know your type, and don't mismarket yourself. I knew going in that I had to be funny or scary because I'm a tall, skinny, goofy looking fella. I was not going to be a romantic leading man, so I knew that. Yeah. And so I had to then market and push my, that's a discussion you have with your agent or manager, that this is where I need to go, and they would agree with you, or whatever. So just being honest with your look and your type is also key.
Those are such good principles, and I'm glad you stepped away from the advice. That's kind of a, a default to go to, but I mean, I can relate to it as a drummer. I have people come to me all the time. Oh, I want to do it, or come to take lessons, or, and they don't understand the art. I was at a big festival, and a drum company asked me to come and give drum lessons, to people that were coming there. And my goal was to give them, within 10 minutes, I had them playing the drums. Well, I'll never forget, one guy came up and I said, show me your rudiments. He goes, oh, dude, I'm not into rudiments. And I'm thinking to myself, then you ain't into playing drums, because that's the art. That's the foundation.
I don't know how to spell rudiments, by the way. So,
but I can say what you've said is so practical, and be the best you can and develop this art. And that whole thing of the product, having the best product and working, and you never stop working at it. You're always,
that's correct.
I mean, I can say that being a drummer, but the same thing applies when you're talking about it being art.
Right.
Oh, I appreciate that. And I hope those of you there in the audience are picking up the spirit, Dougie's spirit.
Speaking of the audience, Jonathan Sheck is in here, actor from many movies and TV shows over the years. Jonathan Sheck was in That Thing You Do, and he played Houdini in a Houdini TV movie
Jonathan.
many years ago. And we did a movie together called Quarantine. In which he played a hot fireman, and I played the creepy infected thin skinny fella that had rabies. So So again, we know our types. We know our type.
Know our types. No, it's a man's got to know his limitations. I think that was a Clint Eastwood line from one of his films, but really, it's true. It's. I'll have to check out Quarantine. I haven't seen that. That's so cool that you guys got to do that film together. Hey, what's the best way for people to stay up on what you're doing and a convention you might be at, or something new that's coming out?
Right. Well, I tend to put up, hey, come see me at this or that convention about a week before each one.
Okay.
I don't announce them too much earlier than that myself because an actor's schedule changes so quickly and rapidly.
Sure. Sure.
But a week before, and it's pretty safe. I'm going to be there if I say I'm going to be there. It's really safe. So right here on my Instagram at Actor Doug Jones.
Okay.
I'm at Actor Doug Jones across all social medias. That includes Twitter and Snapchat and Tumblr and LinkedIn, Facebook personal, Facebook professional, and did I mention Twitter? Yeah, Twitter.
Yes.
I'm not on the TikTok yet. I don't understand the TikTok, but maybe one day.
Yeah, you got to be on there. I mean, I'm not either, but we'll figure it out together, and or coach each other, or give each other advice or something.
Okay.
Anything else new coming up that you can talk about besides conventions?
Yeah. Well, I'm currently in the middle of filming season 5 of Star Trek Discovery. So
nice.
There's no release date on that when that would start airing, but
awesome.
Season 4, already aired. And so that'll be coming up. We're still awesome. The show is still alive and well. Season 4 of What We Do in the Shadows is currently airing week by week on FX channel and then Hulu the next day.
Oh, okay.
And I played Baron Athanas on What We Do in the Shadows, and so it's a recurring vampire from the old world. And so I have another episode coming up very soon on the new current season of What We Do in the Shadows. And other than that, I also, Hocus Pocus 2 will be on Disney Plus September 30th.
Nice.
For all to see. And I do reprise my role of Billy Butcherson in that. And also a movie that I've had done now for a while, and it's finished, I'm told. It was in post-production for a couple of years. Nosferatu. We did a remake of Nosferatu, the old silent film, which is now 100 years old. And we did a talkie version of it with sound and dialogue. And I got to play the title character of Nosferatu, Count Orlok. Cool. So that should be coming at some point. I don't know, but they told me it's done, and that we should be seeing it within the next year at least. I hope, because
awesome.
It would have been nice to have it out for the 100th anniversary. But
yeah. Now, another question with all of this: have you decided when you're going to try to clone yourself?
Well, there are lots of young, tall, thin actors coming up that I am happy to see getting some of the jobs that I may not want to do so much anymore. The older I get, the more I want to phase out the rubber and glue and play more humans. And I am very excited to mention that there's a platform called PureFlix, which is the family-friendly, faith-based arm of Sony Pictures. Yeah. And there's a new anthology show, and of course the title's eluded me. I just got this gig, so I'm going to be filming an episode for that next week, and I'm very excited about that. I'm going to play a human, and so that's hopefully voting for more things to come like that. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. It's just awesome to see the different things you're able to be part of, and the energy level and the way you are touching people's lives and encouraging them just in so many different ways. So thank you for taking time. I know how busy you are, and this is great. It's been a great time. We'll have to do it again sometime because there's so much to talk about with you. There's just so many cool things you're doing. So I appreciate you and all that you're doing, and we'll put some stuff up here. This show will go on to Instagram TV within about an hour, available on demand, and then I'll let you know when this show goes the audio version on all of our platforms, iHeartRadio, Spotify, the list goes on and on and on. So
okay.
The show will continue to live on, but
the show goes on. The show must go on.
The show must go on. Thank you, my brother. It's always great to be with you.
Thank you so much, Steve Russo, for having me back again.
Take care, my friend, and we'll talk to you soon. Give Miss Lori a hug, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, big love. Bye-bye, everybody.
Big Italian hugs to you, bro.
This is U Talk Radio.